Okay, so our first station is our bumping station. So Daniela first is going to show us her fist. So she makes a fist and then she's going to cover it with her other hand. If you can see, it's completely flat right here. And that's actually the part she's going to use to bump, her forearm and then right there on the flat part of her thumbs, okay? So Elizabeth is on the poly spot, Alyssa's on the other side, and usually you have one person or two people waiting at the cone. So when they're ready, girls, you're going to start bumping 3 times. Go ahead. After 3, she'll catch it and then bring it to the next person and then we'll switch. Go ahead. And again, you can bump it high, and if you get off the poly spot, that's fine. Just try and stay as close as you can to it. Very good. See how Daniela's keeping her arms straight, not bending them. Okay, our second station is setting. Again, we have a group of 2 and a group of 2 or 3. So how we do setting, Annette is going to make a W with her hands, just like we do in basketball when we pass. And Daniela is doing the same thing. So this time Daniela is going to step and she's going to try and push the ball as high as she can over the net. Go ahead. And then of course she'll switch. And we're just getting it high enough to where it can go right above the net. The higher we get it, the better. It's okay. If it comes back to you, then just do it one more time. Last one. Good job. Okay, so our third station is our serving station. If you look at Alyssa, she's holding her invisible beach ball. So her first step is to toss the ball. Her second step is to step with her foot. And the third one is to swing her hand. Okay, so it's just 3 steps. So Annette is on her poly spot. She doesn't have to be on it, but that's where we want y'all to be around. And of course, Elizabeth's on the other side waiting to receive it. So Annette has her ball out. Whenever you're ready, Annette, go ahead. Very good. If Elizabeth wants to get further away or closer, it's up to her. Good. So if she hits the net, she'll just roll it under to Alyssa. Last one, Daniela. Go ahead. Very good. And again, as long as it goes over the net, so the net, you can get that one. Doesn't really have to go to the person, just as long as it gets over the net, then we're good. Okay, so if you look at the last video, when Elias hit it and when David hit it, they didn't toss the ball very high up in the air. So David, real quick, show us a bad toss. So that was not very high over his head, so there's no reason that David needs to hit that. So he's going to catch the ball like he did. This time when he tosses it, he's going to toss it a little bit higher so he can hit the bottom of the ball. Go ahead. Very good. And that way it gets high enough to go over the net. Okay, here is our aerobic volleyball game. We have 2 courts. We have one net set up over here, and then we have another net set up on this side, which nobody is playing. Now, our out of bounds, just like aerobic basketball, is where the cones are. We have a line of cones this way, separating each court. We have a line of cones behind this team, and then of course behind our other team back there, we have another line of cones. In the small gym, there are no cones on this side where I'm looking, so you can play it off the wall. But in the big gym, you cannot play it off the wall. You'll see cones in the big gym. Another way to get out in aerobic volleyball is if you hit the ball out of bounds. Now, while Yaitza is about to serve it, our out of bounds line is over here. So go ahead, Yaitza, serve. And she didn't serve it over the net. So that means Yaitza's team is going to go under the net, and they're going to switch with our bench team. And our bench team is going to come all the way across without grabbing the net, and they're going to spread out on this side. So let's talk about the ways that we get out in aerobic volleyball. First off, we have a team of 4 over here, and notice how they're all spread out, separating the court. Kiana's on the far side down there, and then Andrew is down on this side. Okay, so we're not too close together. Same thing over here. Everybody is spaced out to where we can cover the entire court. And then, of course, we have our bench team over against the wall. Okay? So, first way that we get out in aerobic volleyball is if the ball hits the floor. Now, Victoria is our server. Her job is to serve from anywhere she wants to. She can either serve from right there. If she wants to back up a little bit, Victoria, she can go right there. If she wants to scoot all the way up, scoot up, Victoria, she can serve from right there, wherever she feels comfortable, okay? So right now, if Victoria serves the ball and it hits the net, go ahead, and it hits the ground, Victoria's team goes to the bench, and then our next team comes out. Now, since this team over here won that match, Elijah's going to roll the ball under the net, and then we would have our server. Another way to get out in aerobic volleyball is if we end up catching the ball. Now, Veronica has it. She's going to serve it over the net. Go ahead, Veronica. And Jovan decides just to catch it instead of hitting it. So now, Jovan's team is going to give the ball back to them, roll it under, and they're going to go back to the bench. And the bench team will come back out. Another way to get out in volleyball is if somebody on your team touches the net at any time. Now, Veronica is going to be serving the ball. It's going to hit the net. Joseph is going to try and save the ball, but something happens. Go ahead. And as Joseph was trying to save the ball, he did touch the net. So they're going to roll the ball under to the other team, and we will switch with the bench team. Now, before we start our game, we've got to figure out whose turn it is to serve every time we come in. Since our team goes to the bench sometimes, we forget whose turn it is to serve. Now, the best way to do that is to take your team and go by alphabetical order. Now, Andrew's name is first, so he will be first in line. And then Jessica would be second, so Jessica comes stand behind Andrew. And then Kiana would be after Jessica. And Yaitza starts with the Y, so she has to be at the end. So basically, they know that this is their order. Andrew, Jessica, Kiana, and then Yaitza. And then our other 4 people, they know their order now, and so does our bench team. Let's get started. Round 1 of aerobic volleyball. Let's go. Now, the ball did land inside the cones. Genesis hit it over. So that means this team has to go to the bench. Roll the ball to the other team. Bench team come out. Now, since this is their first time to serve, Genesis's name is actually first in line, so she'll be the first server. She can serve from wherever she wants to. Okay, and this team is spread out, and we are ready to go. Spread out. Still in. Okay, this team hit it out of bounds, so we roll it under the net. Notice that nobody is touching the net when they go underneath it. Okay, so now Genesis has served. The next person in line would be Jovan. Jovan does not have to serve it from right there unless he wants to. He can serve it from anywhere he wants or from right there. Okay, so everybody ready? Now, real quick, on this side, we should have our hands ready in a bump position, just like Yaitza's doing. Okay, go ahead, Jovan. Okay, stop right there. Raquela, who's holding the ball, accidentally hit it under the net. Now, I'm going to say this real quick. Jovan went way over here to save a ball. Where would that ball have been? It would have been out of bounds. Well, it doesn't matter because y'all won anyways, but also I saw this team do the same thing. The ball was way back there and y'all could have just let it drop. So don't forget, if it's going out of bounds, let it go. Okay, so it still stays with this team. This side, one more time, don't touch the net, switch with the bench team. Okay, so Jovan was our last server. So now Genesis will give it to Raquela. And again, Raquela can serve from anywhere. Over here we should be ready with a bump position. Fist and cover. Very good. Remember, if it's going out of bounds, let it go. That's all right. So now, finally, this team has lost, so they're going to switch. And this team hasn't gotten to serve yet. And the first person to serve for them is Elijah. Okay, so he's going to wait till everybody over here is spread out. I think we're good to go. All right, Elijah, go ahead. And it hit the net. So this team switch with the bench team. Notice nobody is touching the net as they go across. And that is aerobic volleyball.